Wow, it's been a long time since we've seen or heard from each other. I feel weird because I haven't been here for 2 weeks. For TWOWEEK, and I definitely missed it. I hope you do too. So, we begin to analyze book number 15, Thinking Fast and Slow. And now I'm going to please you with 7 points from the book that I pulled out. The book is so huge that it seems to me that if you swing and hit someone, you can just cripple them. 600 pages. Sometimes I want to tell the author 600 pages. What the fuck? That's the question that's been running through my head all the time. 7 points. So, number 1. With active, complex thinking or performing tasks that require self-control, blood glucose levels decrease. Why do you need this information? Let's say you're negotiating, or your mental activity is at its peak. You're just busy, and in order to recharge, you don't need to take energy drinks, drink cola or coffee. All of these are short-term spikes that basically lead to a pendulum effect. This means that at first you have a lot of energy, and then you fall asleep. When a person does not understand where to get glucose correctly, or rather, how to replenish it correctly, my first recommendation is, of course, to contact Google. I believe that any information needs to be double-checked and clearly understood how to effectively and permanently increase blood glucose levels. Because if I start saying something and stating my point of view now, some of the doctors who are listening to me will grimace, and I will be ashamed. Point number 2. Someone controls the judges. A jump from 35% to 60% after eating fatigue and a decrease in glucose levels. A deal with a potential partner. A story from a book. We conducted a study in which several judges participated who, of course, issued a verdict during business hours. And researchers have calculated that judges are more likely to put criminals in jail for a longer period if their blood glucose levels decrease. Please note that the first point is closely related to the second. If, in the first case, I told you how to increase blood glucose levels qualitatively, then in this case we are talking about a potential partner, the person with whom you are negotiating. And the moment you feel like he's about to say, "Hey, let's move this to tomorrow. I need to make a decision with a fresh head," you can say the following: "Listen, let's take a break, go to a cafe, have a coffee." And most importantly, you need to convince him to eat some delicious, unhealthy, high-calorie cake. Because in order for your partner to react quickly and generate some kind of reaction, you need to feed him something sweet. Point number 3. What is priming? This is the effect of visual images on the desired environment. By the way, this is a cool thing. In short, the author of the book is a researcher. He is a researcher to the core. And he liked to check different things and look at the result, because 95% of the information that is transmitted from the left ear to the right and comes out is forgotten. That is, it does not apply. Priming is not a very useful type of motivation. No, for example, if you have photos with money on your desktop or mobile phone, then you will feel more confident. I'm not saying that you'll feel 3, 5, or 9 times more confident. This is only a small fraction of a percent, because our whole life consists of details. And do you remember what distinguishes a great champion from a man who took second place, say in a race? Just a few fractions of a second usually affect the result. So, think about it. So if you want to feel somehow more confident or, in principle, program yourself for some kind of right attitude, then be kind and take care of your surroundings. I'm standing in my room right now and I'm thinking, for God's sake, what do I have left and right here? Think about that too. And also decide what needs to be done to give you that level of confidence or assertiveness. Yes, what you really want, or creativity. Try to change your whole atmosphere, which will be your fuel for yourself. Okay? It's inexpensive. It only takes 1 day. But you will change. Point 4. How the eyes attract flowers 3 times more strongly. For example, Tips in the corporate dining room. The author tells a story. So imagine a corporate canteen in some IT company, and employees could go to a cafe during their lunch break, grab coffee, tea, cookies, in general, whatever they want. And there was a tip jar, meaning everyone could leave as much as they saw fit. And the scientists decided to experiment. If there were different pictures above the jar, at the eye level of an ordinary person, that is, for example, a flower or eyes, just eyes, taken from a magazine, cut off the eyes and attach them. An angry look, an attentive look, some kind of I do not know, angry look. And this little detail, for God's sake, it was just a picture that influenced the amount of tips left by people who didn't realize they were participating in the experiment at all. Think about it. It's nonsense. It's just a picture cut out of a magazine. It was pasted on, but it somehow influenced our behavior. So, think about it. There are 7 portraits hanging above my desk that I really admire. These are people who to me are rock stars from the business world, and now they're looking at me. And, I don't want to do nonsense or just waste time on nonsense, really. I feel ashamed and embarrassed, and I want to say, okay guys, I understand, we're working. It's the same thing. So if our behavior changes during such an experiment, it means that, damn it, let's experiment. Item number 5. Build trust through writing. More expensive paper, numbers highlighted in bright colors, and quotes from the company's name that are easy to read. Actually, an interesting conclusion. Let's say you want to get a positive response from a potential partner investor or someone else. We all hope that after we make an offer, they will tell us, yes, we are working. The author says that it is the handwritten letter that has the greatest impact on us. Seriously, yes, there is mail, Google, Facebook, whatever, but a letter written by hand on good paper still has its power. Of course, I can't quite imagine how you can take a letter, go to the post office and send it to someone, but, that's how it should be. And again, the story's about the details. Let's think about what we want to get in the end. Do fewer actions, get a mediocre result, or somehow strain yourself, stand out, and get, perhaps, but still a different result. It all depends on you. 6. How does the mandatory effect affect our decision? Focus 100% on what you need. I'm telling you. Imagine that you have a performance in just 30 minutes. Lecture hall. The audience is waiting. And you are separated from the exit by a small curtain. And you realize that there are hundreds of people sitting in the hall. And as soon as you come in, as soon as you open the curtain, all these hundreds of pairs of eyes will be looking at you. A chill on the ass is guaranteed, that's for sure. In general, it will be scary for anyone, 100%. But we, each of us, begin to experience the very fact of this in different ways. Someone starts to worry after a week, someone after a day, and someone literally after an hour. It's at this moment of fright, when it gets scary, what do? Instagram, Facebook, or social media, for example, you can switch your attention to other things and start replying to someone, which is not the right strategy. Because in this way, yes, your attention is shifted, but at the same time you yourself lose the concentration of your inner strength. The author of the book and I too, since I've been through this, recommend that you do the following. If you're worried, you don't have to slap yourself and switch your attention. No. First of all, exaggerate situations like, what happens if I go out now and everyone looks at me? I'll be silent or my voice will be hoarse. So what happens? Well, if you fall or say something stupid, nothing terrible will happen. And you absolutely need to hypertrophiate this situation in your head, in your imagination. It's just one time. And secondly, yes, these are your favorite mantras. You still need to mutter to yourself that you're a cool guy there, that you're going to do everything now. Come out, Tell me qualitatively, that is. You have to emotionally and internally scroll through this movie as if it had already happened. You came out, told me, didn't miss anything, and so on. That is, don't switch. You have an important meeting? You're going to it for 30 minutes. You don't have to. I don't know, conditionally sing songs for the radio and so on. Think about how this will happen, what you will get in the end, replaying each of these moments in your head. And point number 7. People who have the greatest impact on other people's lives are more prone to optimism and overconfidence, and they often take risks. These are statistics. Cool stats. And if in your environment, yes, or you yourself say something like this, I am a pessimist, then you should not be proud of it. Whether you are a pessimist or a realist is not so important, because it is a stop factor in your development, in your personal life, and everywhere else. Because, as a rule, pessimists immediately see some such bright control points that it won't work. In general, this is not a verdict. Whether you are a pessimist or a realist, you just need to work on yourself and think about how you can switch this toggle switch towards pessimism and lead a more carefree lifestyle in order to prepare for the good in advance. We need to try to switch somehow. If you see failure and negativity in everything at once, then, damn it, something is wrong with you and something needs to be done about it. Therefore, welcome psychology, self-control, and introspection. Let them into your life and let everything change. And most importantly, I gave you 7 points, and I would be very happy and grateful if you would write a review about what I do. I hope that you are changing for the better, that the person from yesterday, the day before yesterday, who has not yet listened to these podcasts, has definitely changed. And if you're going to make it all come true, then I'll tell you. You're doing great. You're going to make it. Bye-bye.